Welcome back on this fabulous Saturday morning to see what the real royals have been up to and to see the end of William's tour where once again he met up with some nasty people. Ugh, the verbal attacks are ridiculous. All right, let's jump in and cover everything, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start with King Charles, who shook hands with, I hope I say this right, Manon Jeannot, who's the Lieutenant Governor of Quebec. They had an audience at Buckingham Palace. Next up, sticking with the king, he had a reception to highlight progress and opportunities for collaborations on international sustainability issues. Present were leading voices from the private and the public sector, and they discussed things like climate change and pollution from plastics. So it was an international sustainability reception. Whew, let me get that out. Attendees included the Foreign Secretary, the Environmental Secretary, and it also took place on November 6th. Now, the aim of the talk was to increase action across the climate issues before the end of negotiations on the Global Plastics Treaty, which happens at the end of the year, and of course, in advance of the UN Climate Change Conference, COP29, which is coming up. It was also during this reception that the king told people that he really regretted not being able to go to Fiji on his last tour where he went to Australia and Samoa, but he said he was advised against it for medical reasons. That sounds reasonable to me. All right, let's move on to our next story, which is that the king had another reception for medalists from the Paris 2024 Olympics and Paralympics. And this reception took place the next day on November 7th, and Charles talked about his exercise regime while he was talking to them all. And while Queen Camilla couldn't attend because of her chest infection, Princess Anne was there. The Duchess of Gloucester was there. This was after she spent the day at the Remembrance event, which we'll be talking about in just a few moments. Now, people were pointing out that the guests got champagne and vegetable crisps and canopies but the king apparently did not consume any of them himself. All I can say is I find it interesting that King Charles is doing pull-ups and sit-ups and chin-ups and is exercising. I love that. All right, let's move on. Next up, the Duke of Edinburgh attended the closing ceremony of the 92nd Interpol General Assembly, where he gave a speech thanking all the police officers all around the world. Next up, we have Edward's wife, Secret Weapon Sophie, who was patron of the Awareness Foundation, and she went to a dinner at the Lansdowne Club in London. This took place on November 5th. Next up, November 7th, the Duke of Gloucester visited Market Drayton. He was taught how to cut and decorate a gingerbread man and how to pour the perfect pint. Going back to King Charles, he had an official welcoming ceremony for King Abdullah II at Windsor Castle. This was a working visit because on Wednesday, King Abdullah met Mr. Starmer at Downing Street. On Thursday, King Abdullah met with King Charles. Now, this is apparently the Jordanian monarch's silver jubilee. It's been 25 years since he ascended to the throne. And King Charles commemorated that by presenting him with an engraved silver beaker, which had the ciphers of the king and queen on it. All right, next up, I love this story. Apparently, they were supposed to meet up. Something happened. So since Dolly Parton couldn't connect with Catherine Middleton, the Princess of Wales, she has put out an invitation to host Catherine and the kids at Dollywood. She even offered to give her mashed potato recipe. Whew, love it. Moving on. All right, moving on, we've got the Duchess of Gloucester, who had to step in for Queen Camilla because remember she has that chest infection and she had to pull out of her events. So the Duchess attended the 96th Field of Remembrance at Westminster Abbey and laid a remembrance cross ahead of Armistice Day, which is, of course, this coming Monday. The Field of Remembrance has been held every year since 1928. It's organized by the Poppy Factory to remember those who lost their lives while serving in the armed forces. The Duchess of Gloucester is a full-time working royal now, in case you don't know it, and she's married to the Duke of Gloucester, who you may not know is first cousin to Queen Elizabeth. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, the Queen Camilla is actually the patron of the charity, the Poppy Factory. So, the ones who organize all of this. Now, the Queen already pulled out of the other two receptions that I just got done telling you about, and she's pulled out of this, but they are hoping that she'll be able to appear on Remembrance Sunday along with Catherine Middleton. There's some buzz that she is hoping to appear at the cenotaph. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us these items. Let's move on. We are now down to Prince William's last day in Australia, and he went to visit Simonstown Harbour, where he met with volunteers of the National Seas Rescue Institute, and he heard all about, their life-saving work. Just so you know, the National Sea Rescue Institute is made up of volunteers. The volunteers are on call 24/7, and they're based at 131 service locations across South Africa. William was taken on board one of their lifeboats, and the name of it was the Donna Nichols. You guys know how much William has said in the past that he misses his rescue work. I think if he could, he would go back to it. Absolutely, without a question. All right, now, let's move on. When he got to the harbor there, he decided to go around and greet the locals. It's the Kalk Bay Harbor in Cape Town. There were people there with masks on of the family. I thought that was hilarious. Now, he was here because one of the finalists has a business going here. But beyond that, people wanted to see him. This is not just a few people. This is not due to camera shots. You can clearly see the amount of people. Look at that. The amount of people that came out to see him. People just love this man. They just gravitate to him. And he's so natural with them. He visited Portside Tower to meet the seaweed business from the region and to celebrate local innovation and to learn about the potential to repair and regenerate the planet. While he was still in Kalk Bay Harbor, William met up with some of the local fishermen who told them about their sustainable fishing methods. He had said that he had been drenched by a large wave on the boat where he met the lifesavers, but okay. I find it very interesting that people, when they have to, or when they want to, I should say, are always able to find a better, more sustainable way of doing things so that you get the same result at the end without the damage being done to the environment, to the fish, to the water. You guys know exactly what I'm saying. All right. So at the end, this young lady shook his hand. He got a gift. I believe it came from her. It looked like some jam or jelly. Hopefully it had nothing to do with the fish. Now, when that ended while in Kalk Bay, Prince William decided to sit down and have a traditional fish lunch with Heidi Klum, Winnie Harlow, Billy Porter. I can't pronounce the other person's last name. I'll just say Tobe. William said that he loved Cape Town. He had the most amazing week. He really enjoyed it. He didn't want to go. And he added, my children would love to be here. So would Catherine. And he wished Catherine had been there. Oh, how sweet. All the people that he was eating with were presenters, and he said to them, I really appreciate all your support. And of course, they all said that they were honored. Prince William later on opened up and said that this had been the hardest year of his life because after all, his wife and his father both had cancer diagnosis. And he said that he was really proud, though, of how Catherine and his father handled their health battles with such dignity and bravery. He also confirmed that Catherine now was doing really well. He said, it's been a dreadful year, the hardest year of my life. But from a personal family point of view, yeah, it's been brutal. All right, now, of course, there had to be controversy. So as he's there walking around, greeting the crowds, he ran into protesters. One of these protesters was really stupid and made a comment, and then it was pointed out that he was wrong. Listen to this.
Coming on for hundreds of years already.
Why are you here today?
Why doesn't he go to the townships and see how people are suffering?
He has been there. He honestly has.
So did you guys hear that? He goes, why didn't he go to the townships? Why didn't he see how people really live? And the lady goes, he was there. And with that, the guy just shook his head, looked away, and continued to hold his sign up. Well, I mean, what's to say? He was just basically shown up to be an idiot on TV. But what I really loved more than anything was the fact that as this was going on, Prince William didn't even flinch. You know, people are holding up signs, William, you have no sovereignty in our country and you don't represent South Africa. And William just ignored them and went over to, shake the hands of the people that were happy to see him. That's what I love about him. That's what makes him a good statesman. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Put your comments down, make them good, and then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, which is currently paused, my physical address, and my Amazon wish list. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.